How's it going today, everyone? This is Michael out in Maui. Aloha. So today I wanted to talk about what are your hips doing during the throw. Kind of seems like a topic everybody's talking about. So thought we'd discuss, the hips and what they do. When you're throwing the disc, majority of the throw, 99% of your throw of the disc is all upper body. It's the turning of your shoulders that pivot off your hips. Like from a full drive down the fairway, when you come out of your X step, and you full power through, it's all shoulders, it's upper body. If you're just doing a shorter shot through the trees and you're just coming in and you're just going to turn and throw it, the reason you always see everybody standing up and they kind of spin out on their front leg, they're up here, they'll throw it and then they kind of spin out on that front leg, because they're trying to just hit the gap. You're just trying to get it right through the gap of the trees. So you stand up straighter, you come in and you just try to make the throw, to hit the gap. And that really kind of shows you like what the hips are doing, because the slower you throw the disc speed wise, the less your body's doing. The slower the throw, it's all shoulders and arm. A little touchy up shot, 100 foot placement shot. It's all just a turn of the shoulders. There's no hips. Hips don't do anything. Just gonna turn your shoulders. It's all feel. When you're doing a touch shot and you're standing up straighter, that's all feel. That's touch. That's you just trying to get the feel of the release. But it just kind of shows that that's the throw. The throw is all upper body. I know, people are talking about like firing your hips into the throw, and then now your arm will whip through. And that's not how it's really working. In ball golf for years, talking way back, years and years, they taught, you go back on your take back, they taught your hips went first. Take back, your hips fire, then your arms come in, hit the ball. So basically they're teaching a whole generation of golfers how to slice, because that's not how it works. With today's technology of slow motion footage, they've now realized that the golf swing starts with your arms. So when you come back, it's your arms that start the golf swing. Your arms come down, they get in front of the hips. Then your hips follow through when you hit the ball. But now that they realize, they changed the way they teach, it's all arms first. And throwing the disc is the same thing. You don't want your hips to fire, because that's your hips and your feet are where you're building up all your power. All your power comes off of a spring. A spring needs to be attached to something at the bottom, so you can torque it, So the bottom of the spring are your feet. When you come in under control, your feet plant to the ground, and now that gives you stability. This front leg is braced and locked, so it won't open. Your hips stay forward. So now when I rotate my shoulders, I'm going to build tension up. I'm going to pull all these muscles right through my hip. All the muscles from here up are just going to torque backwards on my reach back. So I'm going to be here, and I'm going to reach back, and I'm going to build tension all the way through here to here. And I'm all locked against my lower half of the body because it's secured to the dirt or to the ground. So it's building up the spring. So I need my hips and my legs to be forward and a good attached to the ground so that way I can torque on them. So now when I reach back, all these muscles are now fighting these muscles that are trying to stay straight. So these are trying to stay straight, and then these muscles are trying to turn. So I reach back, and now I have all this torque going, and I'm just going to uncoil. So I'm going to be from here, and then I'm going to uncoil my shoulders as fast as I can. This leg stays planted. It doesn't open. Don't let it open or else you lose everything you've built up. The better you can keep this foot perpendicular, the harder you're going to come out of that coil. The coil's not going to slip. If the bottom moves, then you don't get that full pop. So good secure of that foot. Now I build up the tensions on the reach back, and now I'm just going to uncoil as fast as I can from here to there. You can see my hips followed the shot. It didn't lead the shot. My head is on top of this foot. This foot stayed perpendicular. So it allowed me to take all that tension that was here. I went backwards, and then all that tension came back to here and then sprung through. But all that power comes from a good base. Lock your feet to the ground when you run up. When you come in, you come in through your X step, you're here, I'm squatted so I have good balance. See, I'm right here. Then I'm going to throw off that leg. So when you're coming in and you make that reach back, there's all that tension, and now I'm just going to uncoil as fast as I can. And my hips don't do anything. One of the best ways to kind of feel it, other than, if you're standing up here throwing, if you just stand here and do those little placement shots, you don't use your hips at all. It's just this. Turn your shoulders. That's why when you run up, it's really important. Like a reach back isn't just a reach back, I guess you could say. Like if you watch a slow motion video and you see the guy just reach back, there's a whole lot more going on than just reaching backwards. That could be why a lot of people don't throw very far, because they're not understanding. When you reach back, that reach back is your ability to, torque your upper body to make, the spring. So you're not just reaching back. You want to reach back and pull your left shoulder up higher. See, that's where you build up the tension across your stomach. See, right here, I don't have any tension. But then if I go a little further, right there, I can feel it. Now there's tension. So it's only a difference of that much more. So you can see my shoulder is on the outside ear. But once I get it to my chin, it really torques on my stomach. So when I'm here, it is now, I've got tons of pressure. This whole side here is torquing against the bottom half, because the bottom half doesn't want to go backwards. You don't want like if my hips go backwards, then I'm undoing the spring action. If I reach back and I turn my hips backwards, I've lost all my coil. You're trying to build up tension from your hips. It's kind of like a battle. It's like your feet and your hip want to go that way. Your upper body want to go that way, is what you're doing. So you come out of the X step and you're here, and you reach back, you're fighting each other, and then you uncoil from here. And the faster you uncoil, you know, the harder you're going to throw it. But you can see how everything just stayed here. If you try to stride out, if you try to engage your hips, it's going to screw up everything. When you're coming in for a max throw, you got to be bent over. You know, if I'm coming in, I'm here, you know, I'm throwing from down here for a max throw. You know, that's my shot right there. If I come in and try to fire my hips first, you know, if I come in here, X step, and I stride out, so now I'm here, and if I try to fire my hips, watch my shoulders. Look how high I'm going to go up. So I'm going to be from here, but now I'm going to try to fire my hips first. So for my hips, you see how my arms came up? To get my hips first, it raised me out of my stance. So instead of throwing from here, now I fire my hips and it's raised my spine. I'm taller. I'm going to make my throw from up here now. And you got no power on it because all you did was lose everything you generated, you know, from your hips. You know, so basically you're popping your hips early if you try to fire them, you know, is what you're doing. You know, if you come in and you're here and you built up that tension on the reach back, you know, if I reach back, I have tension, but now if I fire my hips first, well, that tension's gone. You know, what's my arm fighting against now? I mean, I have nothing left. I already let it go. You know, I've released the spring, so now I'm literally throwing just with my arm. You know, because I let it all out. So you got to do is, when you come in to throw, your arm leads the shot because that's where the coil, all the tension is built up from your hips down. You know, so by standing, you know, when you come in, that's why it's really important to come in balanced. You know, it's better to understride than it is to overstride. You know, because on an overstride, you can't get your head up there as easy. If you understride, you know, if I'm here and I maybe take a shorter step, but I'm going to get my head on top, so I'm going to make a better throw if I understep than if I overstep. If I overstep, I'm going to, you know, it kind of throws off everything because now you got a straight leg. And then your whole coil comes out. You don't have any power, you know, because you overstrided. So it's better to understride than it is to overstride. So, but anyway, so you build up all your tension. You know, you come in out of your X step. You plant these legs, so now they're secure to the ground. My stomach is facing perpendicular. So that's my force to the ground, the bottom half of the spring. Then when I reach backwards, I'm going to torque against my hips and my legs. I'm going to go the opposite direction that they want to go. Right now they're facing this way. I want to turn and build up that tension. So now when I turn here, if you don't feel it here, keep turning. You know, you want to get your chin should be, you know, this shoulder should be under the chin. You know, get full torque. So you reach back, you got full torque, and I'm fighting against my legs, and then uncoil. From here, throw. And that's the perfect throw right there. All my weight's up here, it's not back there. So, anyways, so when you're throwing the disc, it's your upper body's first, primary. Lower half is secondary. Don't fire your hips early or else you're going to lose up everything you built up on your reach back. That reach back is really important. You know, get that shoulders turned. If you don't feel torque through through here, you know, you're just turn a little further, you know. But that's the throw. All the power comes from reaching back, torquing the shoulders, feet of the spring hooked to the dirt so you can uncoil. You know, so anyways, you know, so just to practice at home, if you want to see what it feels like, just, you know, just like I say, like when you're taking a small upshot, you don't use any of your lower body. It's just this. You're just going to turn and throw. You know, it's the same thing. All your arms going to throw the disc. Or take a stance, bend over, take a little wide stance so you can, you know, kind of mimic a X step, and then just turn from here and throw like that. That's the throw right there. This shoulder comes low to high, you know, on the finish. But that's the throw right here. And you can see how my hip isn't doing anything. It's just the bottom half of the spring. So anyways, I hope that helps describe on how you build up the power to throw the disc. You know, where's the power coming from and what your hips are doing. So anyways, this is Michael out in Maui. Aloha.